Blade is a 1998 action-packed superhero horror film starring Wesley Snipes as the title character alongside Bush Wright as Dr. Karen Jansen, Chris Christopherson as Whistler, Blade's mentor and weapons manufacturer. Stephen Dorff is the evil vampire leader, Deacon Frost, who wants to take over the world and wipe out all the humans. He's charged as this vampire cult that Blade is waging a one-man war against as this vigilante superhero. This was Marvel's first big box office hit because they were struggling for a long time to get their movies based on their characters made, and their most famous properties, Spider-Man and Hulk and whatnot, they had their own TV shows throughout the years, both animated and live action, and they were they did do some direct-to-video stuff with Punisher and Captain America that didn't go very well, so they finally went with Blade in 1998. That was a big risk taker because Blade was one of their less popular characters and it worked very well. Plus, it was rated R, so it probably wouldn't have brought in a bigger audience. So it was rated PG-13, but it done pretty well. It made like 140 something $1 million against a cheap butt. Let me look at what the budget was. Made $131.2 million against a $45 million budget. Yeah, that's pretty well done, and it spawned a trilogy, and the trilogy is pretty good. And I like the third one, even though most people hate it, and a lot of people say the second one is underrated, which is. But I really like the second one. I like that Guillermo del Toro directed it, but the first one, and this is my favorite in the series. And Wesley Snipes does pretty good as a title character. He wanted to make a movie about a black superhero for a long time. Originally wanted to do Black Panther, but I think they canceled it, and Marvel went with Blade instead. And he's like, okay, yeah, sure. And he did pretty good as Blade. I would like to see him as Black Panther, though. Maybe they should have cast him instead of Chadwick Boseman, even though I love Chadwick Boseman as Black Panther in the MCU. But well, you wouldn't have had to recast him because Snipes wouldn't have died like Chadwick Boseman. No disrespect to Chadwick Boseman, you were a great actor. May you rest in peace. Um, yeah, the visuals on this movie are pretty good for 90s CGI. Some CGI like blood gushes and CGI gore, but I think gore was CGI. Or was it practical? Was it a mixture of both? I can't remember. But the animation to make the makeup and visuals to make the vampires look like real vampires are pretty good. And this is a giant blob scene that I love where they torture him with this ultraviolet flashlight thing. It's like that thing looks like a Jabba the Hutt ripoff. But the way they interrogate him by burning him with the ultraviolet light from the flashlight is just so funny. There's some other moments of comic relief, some pretty good one-liners from especially Chris Christopherson when he pops in to save Blade in one scene when he's being tortured. He says, "Catch you guys at a bad time." Well, he doesn't say guys, but I can't say the other word he says. And the martial arts in this movie is done pretty well. Fight scenes are choreographed well. Of course, Wesley Snipes is a martial artist in real life, so it's pretty cool that he can kick some butt in this. And I like the final showdown between him and Deacon Frost. Not like old Frost uses a samurai sword, but I mean that thing he says before he finishes Frost off, like it's like some mother was always trying to ice skate uphill. I can't say the full thing, but I mean, what kind of punchline is that? That's one of the worst punchlines ever. And also, there wasn't a romantic subplot with Blade and Karen, Dr. Karen, the nurse he saves from the vampires, and later she has to work with him as like a sidekick or something. But I'm glad there's not the romantic subplot because not every superhero story needs a romance. And the I love the scene where he catches this cop that's stalking Karen who's working for the vampires, and she's like, "You use me as bait," and he says, "Get over it." Snipes really pulled this character off very well, and I liked it when he came back as Blade and in Deadpool and Wolverine. Although I was hoping for Mahershala Ali to play Blade, and it sucks that one's got canceled. And also, speaking of the MCU, the Iron Man was originally released as the first start of the MCU, but now that Blade crossed over with the MCU and Deadpool and Wolverine, I'm thinking I guess Blade is unofficially the start of the MCU now. Well, let's make of that what you will. But I don't know. This is a great action film, superhero film. I give it 2 thumbs up. That's my review. If you like it, please hit the like button, subscribe for more great content. Thank you and God bless. Bye.